Welcome back. I'm Lex Levy and this is Ancient Odysseys.
In today's expedition, we return to the beautiful and enigmatic Abusir pyramid complex, located on the western desert plateau, with the Giza pyramids to the north and Saqqara to the south. Abusir, dubbed as the resting place of Osiris, served as one of the main elite cemeteries for the ancient Egyptian capital city of Memphis. Three major pyramids are Sahure, Neferirkare, and Niuserre, which conventionally date to the 5th Dynasty Old Kingdom. In part 1 of our return, we had a rare opportunity to explore a monument considered to be the largest and architecturally unique non-royal tomb of the Old Kingdom, belonging to one of the most outstanding members of the Royal Courtyard, Ptahshepses, the vizier and son-in-law of the 5th Dynasty Pharaoh Niuserre. We investigated the blue sandstone plate of unknown origin and purpose. For the first time, we entered the mastaba through the lotus column doorway and witnessed ancient funerary code and biographical scenes of Ptahshepses. We located and examined conduit systems and basins that were documented in early excavations. And we studied the mysterious nubbed granite container that is lined with limestone with remarkable precision.
Exterior, red granite. Interior, white limestone. And one of the main things I wanted to point out here, if you look.
That's awesome. In today's expedition, part 2 of Return to Abusir, we will explore the Eastern Temple complex of Niuserre, with the objective to locate a third drain and possible basin that was recorded by board chart. We will also explore the Eastern Temple complex of Neferirkare for the first time. Be sure to watch my first series on Abusir for a deep dive into the major pyramids and temples in episode 36, part 1, and episode 37, part 2. Let's go.
Today we're here at Abusir. Special permission access.
Come explore ancient Egypt with us on our next tour. We will visit Giza, Saqqara, Dashur, Dendera, Luxor, Karnak, Kamambo, Abydos, Aswan, Elephantine, and Abu Simbel, including private night access into the Great Pyramid, a Nile cruise, and a rare opportunity to see the Sirion. Email contact@thelandofchem.com, subject line Egypt Tour 2025 for details.
That's been moved off of the site.
Bunch of basalt here. Quartzite. Coming.
Hey, everybody, please stick together. Black basalt. Yes. So, black basalt here. This is red quartzite. Red quartzite, quartzite, quartzite.
We're searching for a piece of conduit.
And then this is granite
Collectible.
here. So you can really see the difference in red quartzite compared to red granite.
Coin piece.
Wow, it's hilarious. Holy crap. So you can see that, Paul, here on the right, it may look like this structure is mostly rubble.
Herring was the first modern era excavator to gain access into the Pyramid of Niuserre. This is his diagram of the internal substructure. The only other modern era excavator to visit inside the pyramid was Borchardt, who published his findings in 1907, and this is his diagram. This photo was taken from within the primary chamber of the Pyramid of Niuserre. It was captured during Borchardt's excavation, and you can see the colossal chevrons. This is a 3D rendering of the eastern temple of the Pyramid of Niuserre that will help orient you as we explore. We are now making our way past the offering. The primary geologies that comprise this temple are basalt, here in black, used largely for paving, and red granite, represented in pink, used for the columns and some wall casing. Also, there is limestone, represented in yellow. It was used for the core in many of the magazines. Quartzite was also utilized in some pieces, and most notably for the conduit system and collection bowl that we will see momentarily.
But if you look under the rubble, you can see the large megalithic body of the structure itself. A lot of that stuff is exploring this thing, breaking down the pieces, tearing the structure down. Yeah, there's entrances to all three of them. And we'll see that here in just a minute. Any pyramids, scholars, they all have an internal structure.
These are the magazines.
So this is just the first one that we've really come around. So these are quarry marks. And we'll see these all over the Giza Plateau where they were breaking down this stone.
Oh, they were going to break it right on it.
Again, you can see the quarrying marks here. And they were breaking this thing apart to then move the smaller pieces off of the site. This is just the first example that we've seen with the really good examples of quarry marks.
So then that cartouche was put there sometime after, well after the cartouche.
No. So the quarrying is later, like Roman era, Persian era, Greek era. Yeah, not diaspora. So. This is not the same. But no, these are modern, relatively modern quarry, right? We're talking about the Romans or other civilizations that came here, broke down the stones, and then we take them off the site to use them for something else.
So the Egyptians would not have, the pre-Aztecs would not have used that method to break a stone and cut it.
It's entirely possible that it could have happened also. So even the Egyptians were reusing these sites. We'll start to see several of these here at the site. So this is a saw blade cut. And you can see the striations of the saw blade. And here in just a minute, you'll see an example where there's actually a little lip that hangs over where you can actually see the thickness of this saw blade as it was cutting through the stone.
Oh, yes, that way.
So it would have been moving like this.
Or, yeah.
You know,
We will now examine this segment of the quartzite conduit system here.
Oh, see, I think angle going.
yeah, no, but also angled down, correct.
Yeah, look at that. More pottery.
So before we explore,
So I'm standing next to one of the inlets for the conduit system, made of quartzite. We'll see where it terminates later on.
base of the pyramid. So you have to remember this thing used to have casing stones. And the casing stones on the structure probably came to right about here. So we're talking right at the edge of the pyramid structure. There was something in this area that was connected into this channel system, because it wouldn't be just sticking up like this. There would have been another piece here, there would have been stuff here, there would have been a whole housing or something in this area.
Here's your doctoral dissertation, right? It's sticking out.
This was the genesis of my entire work, was this system.
There it is. There's your dissertation.
Because when I came upon this artifact, the conventional story is that this thing is for drainage of rainwater. But we'll see at the end of the system why I disagree with that idea. So again, red quartzite. If this was for drainage of water, you can easily carve it out of the bedrock, or limestone. This black basalt temple here, so these are the ones that are supposed to be painted, limestone painted black. We'll see
Yes,
if we
on
can
the
find that.
transfers.
That was reported by board chart.
Should be on the north side.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I think those are real black basalt.
Is this a lion cubby here?
Here we are looking into the small corridor where board chart found fragments of a lion statue which guarded a small passage. This small dark passage led to the door frame at the top of the stairs. It is thought that this small passage gave access to a hidden bolt which would secure the door. This is similar to what we see at Qasr al-Saga, the palace of the goldsmith in the Fayum Oasis. You can learn more about this locking mechanism in my episode 27. These are board chart's drawings of the lion statue fragments he found in this small corridor.
This is apparently where board chart found fragments of a lion statue. Who knows? Maybe these are still pieces of it.
So see if you can go over there and look for that thing.
Okay.
The other one, it should be in this area somewhere. I think maybe opening out to the other side of this temple.
quartzite here. So I'm on the hunt for a piece of conduit in a collection basin.
If you want to support our expeditions and research, pick up some Ancient Odysseys merch. I have a new collection that features my photography from our adventures. This is a photo I took of the sistrum columns within the Hathor Temple in Dendera on our 2024 Upper Egypt expedition. New Explorer packs are now available. Thank you all very much for your support. We are now entering the courtyard, which held 16 monolithic granite columns in the form of 6 bound papyrus stocks. This is a reconstruction of the papyrus stock columns prepared by Borchardt. In the middle of the court was a large sandstone or, more likely, quartzite basin. This basin is believed to have been a part of the conduit system. The theorized course of the conduit system, as it would have been in antiquity, is represented by the dotted line. This is Borchardt's artistic reconstruction of the courtyard as he envisioned it, and it includes the basin.
Saw blade marks. And then if you look down here, you can see that there's a lip hanging over on this piece right here.
The basalt floor of the eastern temple of the pyramid of Niuserre. Here's a fragment of the papyrus column.
In this manner to cut through the stone.
These are the column bases.
So they call them pendulum saws. And this was a widely used type of saw where you have an A-frame and you have a big metal saw in the middle and you have 2 guys on the side of it moving it back and forth. Kind of like the log.
Here's one of the capitals of the
something of that nature.
papyrus bundle column.
Well, it is curved. Where do we get the salt? So basalt comes from an area called Wadi El Faras, which is a quarry area of volcanic rock in southeastern Egypt.
Okay, so it's a long ways away.
Correct. Pretty good, right? And one of the unusual things about basalt, so it grows in these type of formations. So this is how it would, you would find it in the quarry site, growing in these oblong polygonal formations. And they literally took it from the quarry in its shape. So say for example, this is the quarry site. They would have mapped the quarry and marked all of the stones on a grid. And then you take that grid pattern with everything numbered, and then you make it back here. So all the stones, you find them in this original shape, you put it back together,
Okay, so it's like a puzzle.
and you replicate puzzle pieces. Here you can see the depth of these stones and the depth of this floor. So you're running your channel underneath a system that can maintain the heat of the conduit, which would do two things. Let's say you had a viscous liquid, something that was very thick and prone to clogging. You want to keep it hot. And it would more effectively move the
Apparently, this is painted limestone to look like basalt.
The solution gets cold, those dissolved particles fall out of suspension or solution, fall in plugs in your hole, in your tube, in your pipe. You want to keep it hot. Keep those particles
There's supposed to be a piece of conduit in this area. I have not been able to locate it yet. You can see Saqqara in the distance.
We are now entering the atrium, paved with black basalt. And we get a glimpse of the causeway, which is largely still unexcavated. This is Borchards' reconstruction of the causeway, which would have been partially roofed with a slit for illumination, quite similar to what we see on the causeway to the Pyramid of Wanis in Saqqara.
Oh, look at this. Now, this is the continuation of the causeway. Most of it is unexcavated. There's supposed to be multiple collection basins.
Now we will examine a surviving portion of the quartzite conduit system, beginning outside the entrance to the atrium, running under the basalt pavement, and curving under the north wall of the causeway, and emptying into an exquisite decorative quartzite stone basin.
Here we have the red quartzite collection basin. We saw the inlet near the pyramid of Niuserre.
This is the inlet to the quartzite conduit system. The conventional theory is that this was for rainwater drainage. However, this area was most likely roofed, as we see similar structures in other pyramid temples roofed. The inlet is also narrow, so it would be ineffective to direct water and would clog easily. So what was it for? We were recently on an expedition across Japan where we investigated this ancient basin and conduit system at the base of a pyramid structure in the Asuka prefecture that reminds me of what we find in Abusir.
So these are granite that contains, he said, something like a biolite, like some special pigment of a stone. Yeah, these are granite, and these are sandstone casing stones.
Tiers are granite.
Yeah,
and sandstone.
these stones are granite.
That's just like the Egyptian pyramids where
Yeah, and then the
there's
casing
a lower
is sandstone.
casing of red granite.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
ピラミッド
Arigato
一緒なんですよね。
So you were saying there's further conduit?
Yeah, yeah, they found it. But unfortunately, it's under the car park today.
Just commenting how much this system reminds.
I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odysseys. I'm here at the red quartzite collection basin on the causeway to the pyramid of Niuserre.
A LiDAR scan was obtained of the basin and conduit system. LiDAR is an incredibly powerful tool for independent researchers. Stay tuned for LiDAR scans of ancient sites and artifacts around the world, some of which I plan to feature on my members-only channel. If you want to support our expeditions and research, pick up some Ancient Odysseys merch.
Out the bowl, which I've been waiting for years to see it empty. Because when we come out here, you don't move sand. As I was telling you on the bus, you don't scoop anything out. But they've since cleared this thing out, and I've never seen it. Come take a look at this. This is a rare. Last year we were here, it was filled with sand up to here.
So now you know how deep it is.
This is the first time that I've been able to see this artifact almost completely empty. And it looks like they've also cleared out. Oh, so you can see it from the top now. So this was originally all filled with sand here, but you can see the sunlight coming from here, flowing out of this, and this would have originally been an ornate piece here. Right, so you can see it's broken off. There would have been an ornate end piece here, a lion head or something of that nature that was broken off of here.
During Borchart's excavations, he found a basalt lion's head and it is believed that several of these would have decorated spouts that exited through the temple's walls, with the walls being made of fine limestone and crowned with Taurus molding. This line-headed spout that Borchardt uncovered reminded me very much of what I saw at the Temple of Hathor in Dinara. You can learn more about this in my episode 31, where I explore the mysteries of the Hathor Temple.
So again, we're using red quartzite to build this infrastructure that was completely hidden underneath the floor of the temple. Nobody ever saw this.
So, anybody ever taken any samples of the what's in here?
I wish.
To determine if they can figure out what the chemical composition of the whatever the liquid was.
And that would be the ideal way to do it. But you can see we're pretty closely supervised. And when you come out here on official visits, those sort of things are highly prohibited.
I see.
It would be very easy to do that.
Bakshish.
Oh, I know.
Bakshish. That's what you need, is enough of bakshish.
But you also have to remember that there may have been a metal inlay inside of this.
Yeah, true.
Right? I don't see any green copper oxide.
Yeah, because
in some of the other bowls you can see crags of metal and oxide. Yeah, no, this is original, and it was probably intended to go into this basin.
How did it drain? Why is there no, just maybe a drain underneath?
Again, I would love if they would just take that little bit extra out of there so we could see what was going on. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there was a plug in there, but also, so again, conventional story is rainwater drainage.
So is that what they're stored?
Is that heavy water?
This is actually original.
Well, even rainwater.
There might be some patches in here, but there's a fantastic, and I showed this in my episode, the juxtaposition of the pictures from the 1900s with the archaeologists sitting here and a modern picture that I took, and it looks the exact same. But the thing is, like, it's a cool juxtaposition of the old photo with new photos, and I'm like standing here, and it's me standing in the exact same place as Borchardt.
Yeah, it just looks like it's been patched.
So this in here, yes, this is restoration. This right here is not original, but the stone itself, this is original. This here is patchwork. This is probably a patch in here too. There is modern concrete in here, yes. So especially the part that I wouldn't do that. Hey, I wouldn't do that. You see here, that's concrete.
So this would have been, this is all broken off right here.
Yeah, broken off, yeah. So again, there was something here.
Something here, yeah.
Somebody took it for their house.
It's probably in a mansion.
You know, it's a beautiful piece. Yeah. They broke it off and took it out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the conventional explanation is for collection of rainwater. Drainage, rainwater.
I guess they could have drank it, but...
So,
the idea is,
to me, it's super counterintuitive. If it was just rainwater, the Nile is right there. You just drain it off the side, or drain it back in this direction. Why would they collect it?
Yeah.
And if this was a pharaonic burial, would you put a gutter and a drain system on a modern cemetery and then collect and drink that water that was running past your dead ancient ancestors? No. Like, it's a pretty counterintuitive idea that this is for rainwater drainage. The first time I saw this was the first site that I ever came to in 2017, and this is why I include this place on my tours, because this is such a special artifact for me. This completely changed everything about the rest of my life. This is what changed the rest of my life, was seeing this the first time in person. And something in they were collecting chemicals. Whatever it was, they were collecting something that was incredibly important. And to me, the first thing in my head, people don't realize the importance of chemicals to our modern society. Everything we have is predicated upon our ability to make chemicals, whether it be fertilizers, acids. The plastics are a result of the chemical manufacturing industry. Everything we have today is because we figured out how to make chemicals on an industrial scale in the early 1900s. Completely changed our modern civilization because of ancient chemistry. So again, to me, this is a very special artifact, and I wish, again, clear all the sand out of here. Let's see the bottom of it. Let's see what goes from here. There's certainly more archaeological work could be carried out, but this has been buried since the early 1900s. And to me, one of the most important in situ artifacts. because you can see this thing is also embedded into this. So it wasn't, this bowl, they weren't moving it. So somebody was coming out here and meticulously collecting something with a lot of care and most likely putting it into a vase or a container of some sort that had particular, so we go back to the vase conversation.
Very valuable.
In my opinion, the more perfect the vase, the more special the material that was put in those vases. And that's all they are, is containers. But today we make nice containers for things that are valuable for us and things that are intended to last, to be stored for a long time. You make sure to put it in a good, durable container. So that's my idea regarding the function of the vases, is that they were for valuable alchemical chemicals.
No, Greg, if you did what we were talking about, and you get some, like University of Chicago.
Yeah.
Because they're heavy into this.
Not much remains of the causeway. Much of it is still unexcavated.
Interact with the mercury in a way that it breaks down the metallic bonds. The gold is still in there, and it's still out in the mercury, and it can leave pure gold. That's how you use mercury for ore processing. Okay. So now let me take you over to this piece here.
Quartzite?
Okay, huge pieces of red granite.
Interesting.
Foundation columns. Copper, and we'll see an example at the Pyramid of Saqqara where there's copper oxide staining in the hieroglyphic inscription, and that means that there was a piece of copper that was inlaid into that hieroglyph. And these things are exquisitely carved. Yeah, so there also would have been these are columns that would have been shaped with the flower shape. How tall?
The frame. We're approaching the Pyramid of Neferirkare. We've never have gotten to go down into the Eastern Temple.
We will now explore the Great Pyramid of Abusir. Neferirkare. It is given this name because it is the largest pyramid and it occupies the highest elevation. The data we have on the internal substructure of this pyramid is sparse, with the only two modern-era excavators being Paring and Borchardt. Here we have Paring's diagram. You can see the stepped core of the pyramid, and it is believed that this was constructed in 3 phases. with the third phase being a true pyramid form. This is a 3D rendering of the Eastern Temple of Neferirkare. It too was built in 3 phases, the first being made of limestone and sparse use of red granite, the second mud brick and wooden columns, and the third also mud brick. The extensive use of granite and a conduit system that we see in Niuserre, for example, is omitted here, and this is thought to be due because of the early demise of the king. Also, there was no built causeway, but instead a footway of beaten Nile mud that led towards the Nile Valley. It is thought that a part of this route was later used by Niuserre to build his causeway and erect his valley temple, which at one time had probably been reserved for Neferirkare. Also, I want to mention that this is the first time that I have encountered the use of wooden columns in an ancient Egyptian temple complex. This immediately reminded me of what we saw while visiting the Woodhenge in Durrington, England. Could there be a specific function for the use of these wooden columns?
There's not much that remains. You can see the mud brick structures. Oh, and here are some column bases. You can see it would have been lined with columns or pillars. Looks like columns. Now, much of this structure was added to later using Lebanese cedar. This is so cool. I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odysseys. We're here within the Eastern Temple to the Pyramid of Neferirkare. I'll show you a reconstruction of this Eastern temple. It's a piece of quartz, red quartz, red granite.
And the conduit system. No, they're all collapsed on the inside. Yeah, all of them have catastrophically caved in on the inside.
Oh wow.
So not the tiered vaults, but just huge, immense pieces of stone that create this A-frame.
Some interesting housings here. You can see Saqqara in the distance. Coming! This is Ancient Odysseys. Today we're here at the Eastern Temple of the Pyramid of Neferirkare. This is Ancient Odysseys. Today we're here at the Eastern Temple, the Pyramid of Neferirkare.
Horses are scary.
I'm walking on top of the causeway to the pyramid of Niuserre. Quartzite here.
color. So we were just talking about how that collection bowl may have originally had a copper inlay, like a metal bowl on the inside of it. So this is a piece of quartzite, and you can see the green material here, here, and here.
That's a beautiful specimen.
Which, again, I can't 100% confirm that that's what it is, but just from general appearance, that does look like a copper oxide. So this is a very unique fragment here. And this is the general area where that second conduit and collection bowl would be. Somewhere in here, because this is the temple, that's the pyramid of Niuserre, this is the correct corner, and there's fragments of stone all in this area. So this is a very important piece.
Search continues.
Leave that right there. So I wouldn't do that either. So pick them up. Yeah. So I remember my first trip to Egypt. We were out here. I saw these guys.
It's interesting. I wonder if this was a piece of it. So far, this is the most likely spot. Alright, on to the Pyramid of Suhre. There's all sorts of fragments.
Here are some of the major quartzite fragments I noticed while exploring. This one was found north of the traverse corridor, and this northeast of the offering hall, and to the north of the entrance of the eastern temple. Here's a group northeast of the enclosure, and another group at the northeast corner of the pyramid of Niuserre. Here's a large fragment found in the northern corridor of the eastern temple. And several others in the northern atrium magazines and the atrium. There's also another fragment found on the causeway. I'd like to look at these closer during the next expedition to see if there's any cuts in these stones, which will help me to understand what they may have been a part of. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, pick up some merch, and stay tuned for more epic adventures from Ancient Odysseys. Never stop exploring.
This is Ancient Odysseys. I'm here at Abusir, the pyramid of Pharaoh. This is verdigris. This is oxidized copper. That means these hieroglyphs were inlaid. Here we have Niuserre, king of Upper and Lower Egypt. This is the cartouche of Sahura. We're here at Abusir and it's pouring out.
Explore ancient Egypt with us on our next tour. We will visit Giza, Saqqara, Dashur, Dendera, Luxor, Karnak, Ambo, Abydos, Aswan, Elephantine, and Abu Simbel, including private night access into the Great Pyramid, a Nile cruise, and a rare opportunity to see the Sirion. Email contact@thelandofchem.com, subject line Egypt Tour 2025 for details. See you in Egypt. If you want to support our expeditions and research, pick up some Ancient Odysseys merch. I have a new collection that features my photography from our adventures. This is a photo I took of the sistrum columns within the Hathor Temple in Dendera on our 2024 Upper Egypt expedition. New Explorer packs are now available. Thank you all very much for your support.